Good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 6th of May, 2020. Well, is this a Wednesday? Oh, yes, it is. Okay. So we have a 6 energy for the day, but, which denotes higher self and all of that. But added to the 5 energy of the month, we have an 11. And whenever we can come up and then see between that, we have a 22 year. So another master number. So we have an 11 for the month and the day and a 22 for the year. So we're looking at an energetic experience here today of enlightenment and soul level manifestation. So I don't know what that means in terms of what we're going to find out. The thing is we've been finding out so many things over the last couple of years. 2018 was an 11 year, and lots of information came out, a lot of things came out. 2019 was a 3 year, and so it was catalytic. In other words, manifesting in a way what we learned. The major thing, of course, that happened that year was the impeachment. Then, of course, it fizzled out because the Senate didn't want to do its job. And that's unfortunate because now we're in a position where what was happening now is a direct result of not removing him. So we're in a strange place now today where we're still, unfortunately, I don't know what more we need to learn, but apparently we do. So I would look for things that are illuminating to come out today. I would look for, just anything that sort of reveals more facts. And I know for some, the notion of facts are a little fuzzy right now. They don't really know what is real and what isn't. And I will tell you that has been by design. Okay, that's something that's being done to people, not something that is a result of something that's going on, but it's basically predicated upon predatory behavior, where people are trying to get others to not believe the truth. And once you do that, then you can control the masses. So that's what we have here, and we need to wake up, and realize that we're in serious times, and they take a serious approach, and not one that's cavalier. And I saw some neighbors. We came back. We had to go up to town, which we did so in masks and gloves. We come home and see neighbors talking to one another, maybe a foot apart, no masks, no nothing. These are older men. Older than us. Well, one of them I know for sure is, and just fought cancer. So I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he thinks he's doing. So it's interesting to see how people process all of this in a way that's either, predicated upon safety or predicated upon maybe denial or just, disbelief. I don't know what it is. But it's interesting. The moon's in Scorpio now, so it's no longer in balance Libra. So in the 5th house and all, you're going to want to play and everything, but Scorpio is going to make that real intense. So, be sure that you're paying attention to safe practices and all of that, and try to avoid conflict with others. And if you can at all, just focus on the deeper meaning of life. I mean, realistically, that's what we're doing. And that's kind of why I mentioned the 11 energy for the month, collectively the month and day, and then the 22 energy for the year. We're looking at a soul level experience where soul is going to try to come in here and right the ship, if you will, and bring us into a better resonance with each other. It's really less about the surroundings and the situations in which we find ourselves. It's more about the relationships between us, learning to see people as the other side of self versus just the other. But the moon, sesca square Venus, love life could be a little tense, opposing Uranus. There's tension today, avoid conflicts and expressions of will. Moon, sesca square Neptune, feeling out of kilter today, energy could be low. Again, you've got your aspects with the moon, but the moon's in Scorpio, so that's going to color everything in a way that's emotional and intense, and maybe secretive, and maybe manipulative, maybe. There could be any number of things like that when Scorpio is involved. Other than that, Scorpio is a really great sign. It's just sometimes they can be, when ill-dignified, they can be a little ill-dignified. And so just be careful today with that. If you feel like emotions are, you're rising to the occasion, maybe take a step back, and maybe things really aren't the way that you think they are. Venus square Neptune today was semi-square. Situations and people could be confusing now. So intuition's going to matter. That's the thing with Scorpio as well. Very intuitive people. But keep an open mind. Avoid big decisions, until the situation is more clear today. We've still got 8th house involvement here, so we're going to be reflecting on anything that's jointly done. How are we interacting with others? How are we engaging with others? If there are investments with others, say business-wise, how are you managing that in a way that's safe and is going to get you to a better outcome when all this is over with? That you're still there, in other words, still intact. But Jupiter conjunct Pluto still in effect. We have the resolve now to accomplish anything we want to. We just have to be focused on the truth of things and not do things that compromise our safety and the safety of others. Saturn also 8th house, not just Jupiter. I think Pluto is still, let me look. Yeah, 8th house Capricorn. So you've got 8th house Capricorn for Jupiter as well. But 8th house Aquarius for Saturn, again, reevaluating joint endeavors today. But in conjunct the North Node, we're looking, look, when you go through difficult times, typically we start rethinking things. You start reevaluating all kinds of aspects of your life. You start thinking about stuff. You start reconsidering things. And Pluto's in retrograde right now. And so the transformation that's the planet is famous for, or the planetary body, whichever camp you fall in there. I just call Pluto a planet, and that's that. But now with it in retrograde, it's inner transformation. And so we're really looking at a change in perception right now. The master number energy can help us do that. Instead of living in fear and doubt that's clouded by the ego, we need to live in the light of spirit and let spirit inform our way forward here. Believe me, spirit's going to come down on another side of this than what ego will every single time. So again, I think that we can use this time for transformation, but it's going to have to begin within us. So, today is just going to be a day where you're going to be paying attention to the synchronicities, paying attention to, the messages that come through, and pay attention to what you know. What you know in your heart is true. I've said this the last 2 days. Dr. Birx is not someone that I resonate with. Don't quite know what her agenda truly is. Maybe she's trying to placate everyone, but the only thing she should be talking about is the truth and not anything else. Not trying to soothe somebody's ego or anything else. She needs to just simply tell the truth. But she did when she said that, for those of you that want to go out and about to the rallies and the beaches and the protests and all of this stuff, keep in mind, you might do all right through it, but you could be a carrier of this and not really show any symptoms, and then give it to your grandmother or your mother, and your mother or your grandmother could not survive it. So, what's it really worth to you? That's really, I guess, what we're going to have to decide. And hopefully today's 11 energy and 22 energy will help us do that. So. Let's go ahead and get started with the cards. We'll take the first 3. If we need a 4th, we'll do it. A couple times we've had a fifth. We went a little crazy those days, and so if we have to do that, we will. I just do that in order just to get a little bit more information. If something just doesn't seem clear, I'll usually take another card and hope against hope it's not a court card, because usually that's what happens. So anyway, if this is your first time here, welcome. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. And let's go ahead and take our first 3 cards. And I'm going to take the 13th one each time for randomness sake. So let's get going. Well, we have the 3 of Cups. Joy and fellowship, only at a distance. It's also aligning mind, body, and spirit. That's another way of looking at the 3 of Cups. Cups is about our emotions. It's the water element. And so, you know, intuition, empathy, reciprocity. That's another one. Understanding your effect on the group is another one. Is it integration, or are you harming them by being together? You know, can you do it safely? Can you do that safely? You know, we had Cinco de Mayo yesterday, also my 41st wedding anniversary. But the thing is one thing I suggested is that for Cinco de Mayo, you could have a block party, but with each family or people that live in their respective homes, just in their own driveways, and then have everybody around, you know, and have a block party. You know, there's ways to engage in fellowship that don't violate the 6-foot distance rule, you know, and that can respect people that wish to remain protected with masks and gloves. You know, there's a way to do this. It may feel weird, but once you get into it, you're going to enjoy the moment. So just, you know, drop resistance to how we have to figure things out here, and just figure things out. All right, in a way that's safe and keeps you here, you know, and healthy. The 16th card of the major arcana, a card of balance, actually rebalancing the Tower. Lightning coming in, blowing the top off of things. You could look at that in terms of the 22 energy for the year and the 11 energy collectively today, blowing the lid off of deception and illusion. This could also be talking about the illusion of coming together in a way that isn't safe, reuniting, which we all want to do. We all want to be able to go about our lives without wearing masks and gloves. That's not going to happen for a while. As things do, businesses open up, they're going to have to figure out, again, how to do it safely, and how to keep their staff safe, how to keep their customers safe. So if it requires masks and gloves to come in, then that's what we're all going to do, so that we can keep these businesses open and that we can still remain safe with one another. You know, the guy who at the dollar store who wiped his nose on a worker's arm. I don't even know what to say about that isn't vulgar, and I won't do that. So, you know, well, I will when I'm not here, but on here, I won't do that here. So, trust me, I've been doing this since I saw that. You know, here's the thing. You never know about people, all right? You never know when someone's going to come up and do something stupid like that. So we're all going to have to figure out, do we say anything to anybody? Now, she was a store personnel. She had to say something, right? Because he can't be in there. But somebody should have been at that door making sure that nobody came in without one, all right? Shouldn't put that burden on anybody within the store. It needs to be a guard out front. So maybe they'll do that now. All I know is that just as you don't know how many whack jobs are out there, you don't know how many martial artists are out there. Okay? So the next time you think you want to go do something to somebody, and I don't care who they are, how do you know that they're not trained? How do you know that they're not going to do something to you? in response that you'll never see coming. And if it's from someone that looks like me, that you'll never believe that it's even possible. How do you know? So before you go and do something stupid, think about it. Think, you never know who that person is. Could be an off-duty police officer. Could be former Green Beret, former Special Forces. You don't know. How stupid are people, you know? Blows my mind. Here we have the Four of Swords. This is a little bit of respite, rethinking things, letting our minds settle. We're going to stop with 3. We might end up with 4, though. Let's take a drink of tea and get started. We're going to keep the Tower, we're going to keep the order where it is, and you know you can move your cards around in a reading, even if it's a defined reading like a Celtic cross or anything. If the cards don't seem to make sense and moving them around does, then that's your cue to move your cards around, okay? But today we're going to leave them where they are. We have 2 issues here. And I think I'm going to do it in this order, okay? We want to come back together. We'll do it this way. We want to come back in joy and fellowship with one another, have abundance in life, mind, body, spirit, alignment, if you want to look at it that way as well. But at the same time, in order to be able to do this, you have to be thinking correctly for it to be successful, for it not to harm people. And so, on this 11 collective energy 5-6 day, May 6th, 5-6-22, we've got 11 and 22. All right, keep that in mind. We're going to blow the lid off of our perceptions so that we can achieve fellowship with others in a way that's safe and that will preserve it, so we can come back and do it again and again and again and again, right? In order to do that, though, we're going to have to let our thoughts settle and maybe adjust our perceptions here a little bit. Because if we don't, how are we going to be able to do this and be successful about it? So that we can do it again and again and again, so families can get together. Mother's Day is this Sunday. You know? We won't be together because we can't be. And if you've got, family that's estranged right now, for God's sake, knock it off. Come back together. If kids are leaving their parents on their own because they're mad at them or whatever, come on. Get over yourself before you can't, right? So again, blow the lid off of your perceptions, blow the lid off of whatever you're doing. Find a way to rethink things here. I saw just a little article where it said that a mall in, where was it, Texas, they had an aerial shot of it. It was one of those massive malls, right? And there may have been other buildings around it, but from what I could tell, it looked like a pretty big place. And someone inside was interviewed. It's like, yeah, we've had nobody. Nobody's coming in. I mean, there might have been a couple of people throughout the day, but in their particular store, nobody came in. So I think that there is enough people around that are not listening to some of these governors that think, oh yeah, just get everybody open. Look, everybody wants the economy open, right? But we have to rethink how we do that. Since we didn't get started on any of this until way late, you had the chance for the virus to really take hold in the country. Now, there's areas where it's low. My area, Oregon alone, it's fairly low compared to other places. My area here where we are, in Central Oregon, it's low compared to other places. But we have less population here on this side of the state. So, unless somebody comes in and exposes everybody somehow, if nobody's paying attention, if everybody's going out with masks and gloves like they're doing, unfortunately, you have some like us that do wear them. But if you have people being cavalier about this, like what I saw coming home this morning from the parts store, we had to take some bearings up for the machine shop in the other town next over. We drop them off at one of their locations locally, and they drive them up every day. They take stuff up to the machine shop up there, and we're fixing our tractor, so we had to take another something or other in, some bearings in, so they can do that. They need them. And so that's fine. We went safely. We come home and my neighbors are talking to one, and they're just, this far apart, literally this far apart. No masks, nothing. And they're older than I am. I don't understand. Well, one of them for sure is. I don't know about the other one. The other one might be younger. But still, this is a very difficult time where we really need to understand what's at stake. And and I guess the latest phrase is, "You're not the boss of me." Well, how juvenile are you if you're going to say stuff like that? This isn't about anybody being the boss of anybody else. This is about looking at a situation with open eyes and seeing what's at stake. You can argue about how it got there. We'll figure that out later. Right now, we just need to survive this so we can have that discussion. Because you got different ideas about how all this started, but at this point, we just need to survive it. To say that it's not real or it's not happening, yeah, it is. Tell that to the people who have to pick up the pieces when say, mom dies or dad dies. When they can't be there for that. Think about it that way. This is what's happening right now. It's not a lie. It's awful. And so we can either get on board together and be able to do this in a way that's safe, because that's the issue right now. How can we come back together in a way that's safe? I go to the grocery store. I have one of the guys in the meat department, a young kid, literally comes within this far of me. He's not wearing a mask. I am, but he's not. Same store, almost the same exact location in it. I had a lady the time before, 2 weeks before that, come up and literally hip bump me out of the way so she could get to the meat she wanted to look at. We were standing there looking at him, trying to figure out what we were going to buy. Again, you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who you're hip bumping. We're both black belts. Don't do that. Now, I'm not going to respond physically because I don't want to deal with that. But at the same time, if I had to, if someone was trying to, infect me or act as if they're trying to infect me, if I have nowhere to run, because that's the first order of business in self-defense is run. Okay? Yeah, from a black belt, run. If I can't do that, I'm going to take them out. That's what I'm going to do. Again, understand who's out there on both sides of the equation. You might get stupid with the wrong person, is what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, I'm watching videos of them licking boxes on the shelves. I don't think I'm ever going to go to a grocery store without gloves on ever again. And spray. Oh my God. How nutty are these people? I don't understand this. I really don't. I really don't. You gotta take a moment, man. Take a chill pill. Do something. Before you, as Dr. Burke said, kill grandma. Well, we have a Degas moment here, especially with the 11 and the 22 today. Now, Degas is, it's a 5 energy. It's the 23rd rune of the Elder Futhark. So we're looking at a 5 energy. So energy of change. We're also looking at energy. 5 is also not just about change, but it's about protection and safety and justice. It's about, the warrior, just like T was. Now that's an 8 energy, so you're talking spiritual warrior within. But we're talking about the end of one phase and the beginning of another. What this rune is comprised of, I'll draw this one out for you so you can see. Here's the original rune, Dagaz. But let's look at what makes it up. You've got Gebo in the center, which is balanced energy exchange with others. That means that we have to be on the same page with one another through this if we expect to get through it. All right? Now, okay, don't touch your face. Don't touch your face. I have allergies. And I'm out amongst the juniper. I love juniper, but it doesn't love me. So we're going to terminate the ends of this with Isa, or the 11th rune of the Elder Futhark, and the rune of the static realm, this Norn rune of the present moment, freezing things into place, right? Our shared experience, our shared purpose, freezing that into place and having that be the path forward. But then if you look at Gebo, what you have is you have Kenaz in all directions. And that's the light of spirit informing all of it. We cannot have ego control this narrative. All right? Whether it's the ego of the guy in the Oval Office or his son-in-law or the ego of the people that don't want to cooperate. The "you're not the boss of me." Seriously? I mean, is that really what people are saying? I'm seeing it everywhere. You're not the boss of me. Really? Really? Wow. Well, clearly you need somebody to be the boss of you because you can't figure it out. Another interpretation of Dagaz that I love, and it's not mine, it's someone else's, is energy at its saturation point becomes its opposite. I love that. I just love that. It's like urus and drizzle. That's just amazing. We're going to look at the geomancy rune here. We'll put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth, and hopefully I can see it. Let's see. There's a single dot for fire, a single dot for air, single dot for water, and two dots for water and a single dot for earth. So we have Pure. So that's little boy energy, or energy that's lacking a little bit of impulse control. And that's what I think what we're dealing with right now. Our impulses to escape, our impulses to get out there and do things because we're tired of being home. We're tired of this whole thing. It doesn't feel like to some people that we've gotten anywhere other than we've stayed home and maybe lost our jobs, you know. It's one of those things. This is Pure. Its complement is Puella. That's little girl energy. But you're looking at a lack of impulse control with Pure. It's basically it's basically the energy of little boys that are still trying to, figure out what they can do and what they can't do, what's going to get them in trouble and what isn't. But right now, that impulse control, that lack of impulse control is going to cost us in the long run. And so if we want this whole reopening and trying to figure out where we are, there may be some areas that can do this and they're not going to have an effect. There may be others, though, where it's just not possible right now. And so I would say that in all likelihood, it's going to be dependent, though, upon what it is we know about the virus. If we don't know enough, if we don't know because nobody's getting tested, and gosh, who wants to do that? That's gross. But if you have to do it, you have to do it. If you're sick, you've got to know, right? You're not going to have a choice until they come up with another kind of test that's not quite so invasive. You're going to have to do it, right? Just so you know what you're dealing with. But there's still going to be a whole lot of people that aren't going to get tested. And they'll go through this at home and they'll either survive it or they won't. And they're going to have to find out after the fact, what was it, right? Thing is if we know where it's at, then we can have better solutions of how we function in society. Because clearly in areas where it's more advanced and there's a whole lot more people that have it, then we're not maybe going to want to open things up as quickly as maybe an area where things have been looking good for a long time. They can relax things. And no, that doesn't mean that questionable areas then come over and do their shopping there, because then you're going to raise it there, right? You have to understand the effect of things and blow the lid off your perceptions here. Just blow the lid off of it and consider another way. You know, I look at what the federal government has done and not done, and the things that they're doing seem to be counterproductive to what needs to a positive outcome. And we're all going to have to decide at some point what was the motivating factor behind that. Either it was by design and it's what they always wanted, or they're just extraordinarily inept, stupid people who have no business being in government. Well, we know that. But if it's more, why would we ever do anything this man wants us to do? Why would we ever tolerate anything that's happening? You see, so again, it's about perception. And some of that's going to have to change. You know, this has been it's been in the astrology for a while now. Let me go back to this here. Saturn in conjunct North Node. North Node is about the future. South Node is about karma and the past and all of that. It's looked at as evil, but it isn't. It's just, you know, the things that we need to remember when we're in this expression of life. And what kinds of challenges do we want to overcome here that maybe we either caused in another life expression, or maybe we wanted to, in other words, maybe in one time we wanted to be the oppressor and now we came in as the victim because we wanted to see what that dynamic was, right? But at this time, hopefully what you're learning is that we can't stay, you know, in the same level of perception throughout life. Sometimes things come in that provide us with an avenue to learn something new and to consider other ideas. And that's what we're talking about right now, I think, is that perceptions surrounding your very fundamental beliefs right now could change. And so some of that, again, you know, we're having to contemplate life and death right now, assuming we believe that this is actually happening. You know, but when grandma's no longer at the Thanksgiving dinner table, assuming we can do that this year, say we can, but if grandma's not there and you look up and you say, where did she go? When someone says, well, she died of the COVID, you can't holler out fake news. Okay, that's the dichotomy. That's the problem I think we're having right now. You got one set of people that think this is fake news and another set of people that knows that they know it's all too real. These folks got to catch up. Right? I don't know. I'm just at such a loss over what's going on. I'm still caught up in the whole guy wiping his nose on the store personnel person, the lady. I can't believe he did that. But then there's that other lady that decided she had a mask on. I saw that. She had a mask on, but she cut a hole right here so she could breathe. While I'm making pocketed masks that I can stuff cut up ShamWows in, and the blue shop towels you can buy in rolls. You know, they're like paper towels, only they're blue and they're for shops. And Costco sells them, different places sell them. But I still had some, and it's a real thick weave. And somebody at some federal site, I forget what it was, but it was from something like that. They were saying these are acceptable filler materials, that these do pretty well. It's probably not going to keep out everything, but it's probably going to be better than just a regular paper towel. And so I've been folding those up. So it's like 4 layers of it inside my pocketed masks that I've made. So I've got 3 layers of fabric. And then if it's made out of bandanas, it's actually 4 layers because they're thinner. And then I either put cut up a double layer of the ShamWow material inside, or I put a 4-layer. I fold up a shop towel into 4 layers and shove that in there. And I figure that might be enough, but I don't know. But that's what we're doing. We're trying to find. Some people are talking about nylons, pantyhose, that also provides a really good layer. I don't have any, so I can't use that. So I've just been looking for thicker types of and densely real dense type of material where you hold it up and you don't see light. That's what you want to try to, if you don't have any HEPA filters or anything else, if you're trying to, hack something together, what I've been reading is that they're wanting us to have things that are thick, but so that you can still breathe, right? Unless you're lucky enough to have an actual, medical mask. But if you're not, and you're like me and you have to make them, then, you try to find anything you can. I mean, I've looked at wash rags to stuff them with, anything that will increase the barrier between anything you might experience out there. So anyway, that's what we've been doing, and hopefully you've all been doing something similar, and you're staying safe and well and protected and protecting others as well in the process. Again, this is not about individual perception on this. This is about a collective way forward in order to deal with something that realistically, we don't have any other way of dealing with it. How else do you deal with it? You don't want to get a cold, you stay away from people with colds, right? You stay home, you cover your face, you wash your hands a lot. We've done this forever for all kinds of things. It's just right now, this is just really serious. So, I wrote something yesterday after I did this on Medium. I actually did it while I was supposed to be doing the correspondences while I was watching it, so I ended up doing both. And I finally stopped doing the post on Medium, and I finished the correspondences, so I did get those up. But anyway, after I finished this one, after I finished the correspondences, I did another. I finished the one for Medium, and it's called "His Ignorance Cannot Be Our Undoing." So I'm sure you can figure out what that is. Anyway, that's over there on Medium if you want to go check that out. I do write over there. I do write on Patreon. I have a Patreon account. I'm going to hold that open for a little while longer, but I may end that at some point. So I'm feeling just a little bit too spread out. I had a feeling that would happen, and I was right. I just should have listened to myself and not done that. But I just think that I got too spread out. So anyway, we'll see. I'm making some reevaluations with respect to the affiliate marketing I'm doing, and I think I'm going to scale some of that back as well. Again, it's just, it feels odd during this time where people don't have money to be advertising. So that's the part, I guess, about advertising that bothers me. I've owned businesses, and I have a terrible time with it because I don't know. I feel like it's like, here I am. You want to come do business with me? You can do that. Thank you. And that's it. That's as much as I want to do, right? So doing affiliate marketing it's been interesting. It's been fun. It's been creative. But I don't know that it's the way, I don't know to the level that I've been trying to do it, that it's what I really want to do. So anyway, again, this is just a time of reevaluation for everybody, no matter what you're doing. So anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. Come back tomorrow. Again, click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. And check out my blog, Stepping Aside, over at imsteppingaside.com. All of this goes up there every day. And so check that out. There's links below the video here for wherever I am to follow me places. I'll follow back. And be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.